Hello, my name is Kevin Langle. I'm with the Center for Telehealth and Cyber Medicine Research. We're going to conduct a training video on the use of Vidyo today. What Vidyo is a software-based video conferencing program that is compatible to be used on a PC or a Mac. It can also be used on tablets and Android and iPhones as well. And I'd like to thank you again for joining me. Okay, let's begin. The Center for Telehealth and Cyber Medicine Research Vidyo training video. Here's some contact information for us at the Center for Telehealth. I will also leave this up at the end of the video so you'll have time to take down the information if you need to. Before we get started, once Vidyo is loaded on your machine, you'll notice you'll get this little Vidyo icon down here in your toolbar. If we can right click on that and go to Configuration, that'll bring up the configuration screen. The only tab you'll ever have to use in here is this Devices tab, and it just gives a list of multiple peripheral devices that you can use in conjunction with Vidyo, different microphones, speakers, and camera. I just want to look in here and make sure we have the right ones selected for your system. If you only have one of each, only one will be listed here. So once you've verified that these are the correct peripherals to have selected, if this is one of the emergency services programs, you should have a cheat sheet attached to that machine with a list of which peripherals should be connected. Also, while we're here, let's make sure that this echo cancellation box is checked. Once that's done, if you've changed any settings, if you could either hit apply or save either one, and then we will move on to the next section. That'll save your preferences within Vidyo. Next, let's open a web browser, and if you'll refer back to your Welcome to Vidyo email, you'll notice that there's a web address or a portal address within that email. Please enter that portal address in the top URL bar. Remember, everyone's is different, so refer to the one that came in your Welcome to Vidyo letter. That'll take you to the Vidyo login screen. Here we'll put our credentials in. These also came in your Welcome to Vidyo email if this is the first time you're signing in and haven't changed your password yet. I just want to show you this as kind of a training purpose. If you're running the old client, it will prompt you to install the new one. I've already done so, so I'm going to select Skip Update. But if you haven't upgraded to the new client, select Update Vidyo Desktop and follow the on-screen instructions for that. You'll notice with the 3.0 client, once you log into the portal, it'll bring up this almost chat-style window over here to the side with all of your saved contacts in it. You still can search for new contacts in here as well, just like in the web portal over here in this white box here. You can search for other contacts within Vidyo by name. For example, to do that, let's search for, I can even search for a contact I already have. If we type in Columbia, it'll show the Columbia conference room here, which is signified by the box and the arrow, which signifies it as a legacy or a Polycom Tamberg Cisco type telehealth unit. We can also search for names. We'll search for Adrian, the manager here for IT at Center for Telehealth, and it'll bring up all the contacts associated with Adrian. He has a Polycom unit that sits in his office, and also his personal account is shown here by the little person next to his name. With it being green, that means he's logged into the Vidyo system and he's available to call. So we're going to delete that out, and it'll take me back to my contacts list, which once again is the same as over here. So if you want to add a legacy system to this list, you have to do it through the web portal. Say I want to add Adrian's office, I already have it in my contact list, but what I would do is select Adrian's office, then the Add Contact button over here. As you can see, I have a red X where I can remove these as contacts from my list as well. Right now we're going to talk about the My Room feature of Vidyo. Anyone with the Vidyo account has a room. These are used for multi-point calls. You can send out notification to other users and ask them to meet in your room for a meeting at a certain time. We're not going to spend a lot of time on the My Room feature right now. If you'd like more information on that, please watch the video on the Center for Telehealth website about controlling a meeting. Now let's move on to actually placing a call. I'm going to use the 3.0 desktop client to do this. You can either make a call from here or within the web portal. Either one will generate the same thing. I'll go ahead and show you both. So I'm going to pick Columbia because there's no one in that conference room. You can see the 3.0 client listed a little different. It says a non-Vidyo system. That's just in reference to a legacy system, a Polycom, Tamberg, Cisco, something that's a video conferencing system other than Vidyo. To make that call, we'll just select call here, and that will open us up a Vidyo window into that system. Just give it a minute for the camera and the system to wake up in that room. Like I said, I wanted to show you both ways to make the call, so I'm going to end the call by hitting the X here at the top right corner. Now this time I'm going to call it from the portal. I'm going to go here to Columbia, which you'll remember is the box with the arrow in it dictating that it is a legacy or Polycom or Tamberg system or Cisco. So within the portal I'll highlight Columbia, then it'll only give me the option to call direct because it doesn't have a room, it's just a standalone system and it's a non-Vidyo system. So I'll go ahead and select call direct, and it takes me to the same Vidyo window, and now I can see into the Columbia conference room. Now you'll notice that there's no tools apparent on the screen. They don't show up until you move your mouse. If you're familiar with the old client, all of the controls were across the top. They've now moved them into a disappearing bar here at the bottom. Most of the controls are similar, but some have moved and some have changed. For instance, now you have this person here with the little arrows next to him, which is the participant list. If you click on that, it'll show you who's connected in this call. One of the main icons that's moved, there used to be a camera icon over here by the settings icon that was the remote camera control. It has now moved under each participant's name if that option is available with that system. Since I'm connected to a Polycom system, I can control the camera on that end by clicking the little camera under that participant's name. Now remember, to get to that, I had to go to this participants list, then under their name, as I just hovered above it, I could see I had some options with Columbia, and one of them is this remote camera control. So we'll click on that, and as you can see, it brings up the navigation box to where I can click and move that camera around the room. I can pan up, pan down, left and right, zoom in, and zoom out. Then to close that, just click on the window again and move your mouse, and it'll bring up your toolbar again, and you can close that participants list. This is a chat feature which we're not going to go over right now because it's not enabled on all systems. The next one is your layout button. This is for multi-point calls only. If you had various users, you could change what kind of screen space each person had. You could set it up where they have all equal, or the main talker has the large portion of the screen and everybody's in small windows around that. Above it is this little box that you can open with the arrow, which you can regulate how many users you see. This is also controlled by your internet speed. If you have a lower speed, you might only be able to see one or two participants at a time. Also, if you don't want to see, say you have 8 participants in the call and you only want to see 1 or 2, you can restrict that through the system, through this box, to however many users you would like to see at that time. It has this new option, which is no video feed, which will turn off the video that you're receiving from the end. If you choose not to see any participants, to turn that back on, you just hit this up arrow again, and I apologize, then you'd go to automatic, and then I'll bring the video feed back. The next icon, as you notice from the old client to the new client, they used to pop up with what the icon is, and it still does that in this system. You can hover all of these icons and it'll show you what they do. This next one is the full screen, and that just toggles from full screen back to windowed mode, whichever your preference on how you'd like to view it is. Some people like to keep it in the window mode because then you can move it over to another monitor or have something else open that you're referencing during the call. The next one over is the Share Content button. What this allows you to do is share a Word document, PowerPoint, or even your entire desktop with the other side of the call. So if we click on this icon, it'll open up all of these things that are running on my system. Like I said, I can choose to share my complete displays with the other side, or I can choose to share just a certain application with the other side, whether it be this PowerPoint or this publisher document. So we're going to choose to share this PowerPoint with the other side, and it'll show me what I'm sharing so I can reference it while I'm talking to the other side of the call. Something I can do, remember, to bring your toolbar back up, you just need to click on the screen and move your mouse around, and that will bring the tools back into view. These icons have kind of changed a little bit. This next one over, if I click on it, it gives me the option to stop view share. I'm still sharing content, however, I no longer see in my video window what I'm sharing. So if I wanted to bring it back to full picture so I could see everybody in the room, I could do that. And like I said, these buttons are still green, so it shows I'm still sharing content with the other side. So if I click on this again and go back to my name, it'll bring up this other window and show me again what the content is that I'm sharing with the other side. To stop sharing content, I need to go back to this original content button and tell it to stop sharing. The next icon over is your self-view icon. I can either choose to give myself the same screen real estate as everyone else, none at all, or the picture-in-picture window down here in the lower right corner. That's entire preference on however you'd like to have your video window set up. Some people like the picture-in-picture, some people like to have the full screen on the other side. The next one over, these three buttons are going to be the ones that you probably use the most within your video call. This first one is camera. You can click on it and it turns your camera off. You notice it puts a slash and turns the camera button red. The other side can still hear you, they just can't see you. You're no longer transmitting video to the other side. Simply click it again, turn it back on, and now we're sharing our video feed with the other side of the call. The next one over is your microphone button. Same functionality. If you click on it, it'll turn red with a slash, which means now the other side can see me, but they can't hear me. To turn that microphone back on, you click on it again, it turns it back black, and you're now transmitting your audio to the other side. It has this button above it. You can adjust your microphone. However, you can see that this green line is moving while I'm talking. The microphone will self-adjust itself to balance the audio that's being sent to the other side. So you can temporarily change this, but eventually the software is going to grab it again and self-calibrate. Usually most people will change this if the other side's having a problem hearing them or if the volume's coming across very low. A couple troubleshooting things, you can make sure that they have their volume turned up on the other end as well if they're having problems hearing you. The next icon over is your speakers. Same functionality. If you click on it, it turns red with the slash. The other side can still see you, they can still hear you, but you can no longer hear what they're saying back to you through the call. Click on it again, turns the speakers back on, and now you'll receive audio from the far side of the call. This next icon over is your settings icon. If you remember in the beginning of the video, I had you go to the configuration tab down here in the lower right corner. This is the same window. If you're already in the video call and they're complaining they can't hear you or something's not working right, you can click on this settings button and make sure you have the right equipment selected for use with Vidyo. And you can change it from here and it will change on the fly. Like, once again, if you change anything, just hit apply or save. The last thing over here, it has a time that you've been in this call, so you can keep track of your time. If you're on a tight time schedule and you only have half an hour, it'll show you how much time you have left. And the last one is the end call button. This end call button does the same thing as closing the window. It'll terminate the call. So we'll go ahead and hit the end call button. That'll close our video window and we're out of the call. I'm going to bring some contact information over for you for a few seconds to take a look at. Thank you for joining me.